Hey guys, welcome to another live show, another live She Knows Arsenal. Make sure you guys are liking the video and subscribing to the channel, and most importantly, getting into the chat and letting us know what you guys are thinking. Yeah, I've been asking people all week if they have goosebumps. We're going to find out whether or not Diluted has goosebumps over our transfer window. But first and foremost, I want to remind you guys that we do a double header show on Thursdays. So if you guys weren't a part of the first show, make sure you guys go back after we finish this live and watch that one. The link to his channel is in the title, and you can also just put in Diluted Gooner, and I'm sure you will find him. But listen, we are a couple of days away from going to Singapore, and we haven't announced Madueke, Mascara, and Gyökeres is still not done, but we're assuming that those are all done / going to get done. How are you feeling about the window check-in, like right now, like on a scale of 1 to 10? Where is it on the scale? And do you have goosebumps?
As for goosebumps, I got goosebumps about Gyökeres. I got goosebumps about Zubimendi. I feel one thing that's gone against Zubimendi is obviously we've been pursuing him for years. You know, the Gyökeres stuff is taking over. The Madueke and all the talking points is taking over. The bigger context around Eze and Rodrigo and these ones. But two players, you know, I called for level raisers. Called them two are level raisers. I called for squad depth. I guess I ain't got a leg to stand on if I say we haven't done that. But in terms of goosebumps, that little bit extra, I know it's not always about players and Arteta's got a lot to do tactically. But in terms of where I'm like, wow, okay, now I really think we've got that little extra that in semi-finals of Champions League, we can get the difference done there, or in the Prem. That's the Ezes, that's the Rodrigos, and that's anybody else of that kind of caliber. I ain't seen them lot coming in it really and truly. Step in the right direction. You asked me for out of 10, give or take 5 or 6, if I'm honest. It's cool. It's competent. It's not really like, wow, we're significantly better.
Yeah, there's no real surprises there. I feel like we knew we were going to, I think I always felt we were going to get a striker, and I still, for the most part, feel like Gyökeres is going to get done. Does it worry me seeing any sort of reports around Ollie Watkins at this stage? Yes, but I do think Sporting is going to hold to the very, very end right before, and we'll cave right before we're supposed to go to Singapore. I just think they, like somebody said in the chat, they know we really want him, and he's moved heaven and earth. So they're really just trying to hold our feet to the fire. But we'll get him. But I think we were kind of expecting a left wing and maybe something else, maybe, you know, right wing or an attacking mid. And at a certain stage in the window, you know, the reports kind of made it seem like left wing, Eze, and Madueke. Now Charles Watts has come out with this report saying that they love the fee for Madueke. He's not looked at as a backup, and now things seem to be a little bit more clear. How are you? Do you feel like, because I think we both said that we didn't believe he was a backup, but is this role on the left-hand side for Madueke, how does that, do you feel like that's an improvement at all? Are you excited to see him on that side? Anything? Like, it doesn't feel like anybody is excited about him playing on the left. You know, I'm not, but do you have any positivity or copium that we can take?
Well, it's not even that. When it's all said and done, you know, the man signed for Arsenal Football Club, innit? Like, no one put a gun to anyone at Arsenal's head to go and buy players from Chelsea. I feel it's obviously everyone can have their opinions. You can believe he's the best thing since sliced bread, or you could be probably where I am in that I'm not really on the potential thing in the attacking ranks. But at the end of the day, the man signed for Arsenal, he'll have my support. Now, where we're at in terms of we need to get over the line, I didn't have Madueke. I should have because it's a Chelsea player, but I never had Madueke on the wish list. I defo didn't. Where I look at our attacking units, as I said on my platform when you was there, I don't really want to bet on potential. If I'm honest with you, I kind of want to know what I'm getting. Of course, you could be, a bit naive and obtuse and say Gyökeres is potential because he's never kicked a ball, but we expect that to be a 20 league goal striker, right? We know what Saka does on the left hand side. I think Madueke can bring something to the squad. I think he's got some qualities that he could bring, but are you a level raiser? I have to kind of squint. People are telling me about XG and all of these things, and I'm not saying they're wrong. But when we sign people, like if we did get a Rodrigo or an Eze, if we've got Declan Rice, we've got Zubamendi, nobody ain't talk Gyökeres, no one ain't talking about XG and squinting to kind of find things. Where Madueke has to work because again, I at least externally, I don't know about internally, Arteta is under pressure or Arsenal under pressure to deliver. You've got to get a tune out of Madueke. You've got to make him a genuine contender for that right hand side if he isn't going to be back up. You need to make that left wing spot work. Where I look at it, I can't tell you right now if I think, well, I don't. I think Trossard, Martinelli, Madueke, you're all kind of the same level. I don't really know what I'm getting in that regards. A fit Gabriel Jesus, we ain't been exposed to it on the left-hand side. And Gabriel Jesus, his days at Arsenal are probably numbered. But as I asked you, if you slap all four of those options, I think everybody would tend towards something else. So it's not really the level raiser. And where you look at, if you break down like the starting 11 into 3 sub units in it, so the defense, the midfield, and up front. Defense, I think Arteta has given me all the things to believe. Like you can sign me any defender within reason. I think you could do a thing. That's where I'm at with the Mosquera guy. You show me you can teach them. Midfield is a bit mixed, but there's been more hits than misses. Now, where you look in the attacking ranks, Marino and Havertz, they were accidental forwards. Gabriel Jesus, it weren't really Arteta's fault because he got injured, but we know where we're at there. Trossard probably his best recruitment's been okay. Martinelli and Saka were here already, and he did make both of them improve, but there's too much there's not enough standouts. I'd say the best thing and the worst thing about Madueke is you fit in. Like you fit in positively, you fit in negatively. So I hope it works. And obviously Madueke's got to have to make it work for himself. But Arteta, you've bet your hat on that now. You've told me we found 50 million. And I think one thing away from the whole potential and all that sort of stuff about Madueke, clearly the fact that we've bought again from Chelsea, clearly the fact that the man's not a level raiser, and clearly the fact that we just don't know what we're getting. And it doesn't scream you want to deliver right now. Of course, Madueke can be a good player, but you just don't know what he's going to bring.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if the window had gone the way that Arsenal wanted it to go, there's even like a world where we would have had a striker that's definitely not the finished article and Nani Madueke as our attacking signings. No matter how you spin it, flip it, whatever, we can do as much hopium or copium as you want to do. I'm open to that. But there's no way that you can convince me that Arsenal are serious about raising the level and really competing with the players that they are getting and or trying to target. When we were getting Sesko, or we thought we were getting Sesko, I think everybody said the left wing means so much more if you get him because he's not going to start. You bring in a 22-year-old, we know what that means. Havertz is starting. So we were like, well, then you have to bring in a Rodrigo or something like that. But if the plan was always you were only going to get a left wing if Martinelli comes in, it's like, so were you guys planning on going with the same attacking lineup? That's what you're telling me. Unless Madueke is coming in to start no matter what, you guys were totally okay with Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka again. And there's just something about this club under Mikel Arteta that is just so allergic to attack. And I don't really get it. And it's starting to like really just, it reeks. I don't like to do the whole like comparing too much, but there's just no world in which, I can't even really back my front three, even against teams that are like not the top teams, against whatever Newcastle has or whatever Manchester United has, even whatever Spurs has. I want to be able to say 100%, I know our attack is better, and I don't, and that concerns me. I don't want to go through another season of a weak attack. Am I overdoing it here? Like, I'm open to, Jessica, you're being dramatic. Am I being dramatic here? Or do you share my sentiments a little bit?
No, goals win games, man. Obviously, we look at off. I said it earlier, 14 draws. I can't just put that 14 draws down to our inability at times to score more goals and kill the games, but it's a big part of it. You look in the second leg against the Champions League. Had we have had like proven goal scorers, we still could have went out, but we might have changed that game within the first 20 minutes with the chances. And ultimately, I don't think these attackers are bad attackers, but the boots are too high for them to fill. Obviously, Gyökeres, we're led to believe, is coming through the door, but Saka is doing too much of the legwork, really. Like, I don't feel our attacking unit, they're bad players in isolation. It's
Yeah.
just ultimately you don't have the levels, the ability, or the consistency to get double figures. I know you can't go and get me a left-hand sided Saka, but if you could get someone that could do 50% of that, which is my hope with Madueke, then fair enough. And with the Madueke signing, I now need Eze. I know Eze, I said it on my platform. He's probably a better option off the right, to be fair, than Madueke. He probably could play as a false nine. I know we all would love him to play either in Odegaard's role or, occupying 8 behind Odegaard. But even if we just assumed, Eze was not versatile and he was just a left winger, if it didn't work, fair play. But you could see if we signed Eze, you're a better left winger, or you could be better in that role than Trossard, then Martinelli, then Madueke, etc. Because I don't think it's fair to Madueke, because obviously he's not an idiot. Madueke, Zubamendi, Gyökeres, anyone that's at the club or comes into the club, fans, all these players have been gassed up. Fans are going to be, fans are going to want results. If Madueke struggles, because you're not just going to blink, he's not just going to join pre-season and all the concerns Chelsea fans had, or all the upside that some of the statistic tons will do about Madueke joining Arsenal. We're not just going to flick a switch. It's going to take a while to get there, innit? And I don't think it's fair for Madueke, because ultimately we're putting players in boots they can't fill. We always do this thing, not even just with Madueke, with Havertz, with all these guys. We take squad players, try and make them first team regulars, and they do well for the large part. But when it's time to get over the line, they haven't got that. I think we need to stop reinventing the wheel, man. I hope it all works out. But, I'll tell you, you know more about football than me. You're the coach. If you think he could be a left winger or whatever you've got planned for him, make it work. We will shut up. But right now, on the 17th of July, can't say that's a level raiser, man.
Yeah. I mean, the risk that you take with Madueke is just so, it's so layered, because it's not just about the player and will he be good enough? That's a big enough one in itself. You're bringing in a player that I don't think most Arsenal fans did not rate. Is not somebody that I feel like on a weekly basis, when the Premier League games are being played, that's always talking about Madueke. We're not. And Arsenal fans will twerk for anyone. So I've never seen anybody twerk for him, right? So you have
They
a
are
player
now.
that
It's a masterstroke now. Well, I can't be honest. We just need to be honest. He's not a bad player. There's probably a lot of overkill from our fans because of buying from Chelsea or whatever. But don't make out like this is a level raiser. We hope it is, but you can't evidently tell me right now. It's another signing that we do where you're kind of squinting. You're doing the ifs, buts, and the thirds. Back the lad, give him a chance. But Arteta, you've hung your hat on that one. You have.
Yeah, it's like nobody was really rating him, and
Exactly.
then now he's coming in, and oh, by the way, you want to, because we saw early reports were saying that Arteta believes that he can make him into a really good left winger.
Make
And
it work.
I'm like, Arsenal, I feel like Arsenal need the type of attack that the top teams have, which means you have either young players that are at the top end of the talent, or you have prime players that are at the top end of the talent. That's what they have. Look at Barcelona, look at PSG, look at Liverpool. They either have Salah or they have Lamine Yamal, they have Doué. That it's we can't be the outlier here. And so the remit for Madueke is not to be serviceable, is not to be one of 3 options that we're going to play on the left, that, on any given day we'll just pick. But it's different, but it's not better. He has to be really good. He has to be really good. The fee, what we're losing out on potentially, and where we are in this project, he has to be good. Arteta really backs his own coaching, but I'm worried for him.
You better
I'm
back
really
it.
worried for
Just
him.
make it work, and not the reality is you make it like this is probably a bit extreme, but Madueke is not going to be the first nor the last player that signs for a football club and no one's convinced. If it works and we're happy as Larry, great. Arteta, you've hung your hat on that, so let's see what we're doing. Because I don't
Absolutely.
want Saka and Gyökeres to lead the line. Because even with the Gyökeres thing, I believe Gyökeres needs to start. I think even if he doesn't start the season, he's coming to be the number one. But there are some Arsenal fans that are saying, maybe he is going to be a squad player. Maybe Havertz is the number one. Maybe they play together. So we'll have to see. A big part of this is coaching as well. So it has to
Yeah.
come. It all has to come together this season. Has
Yeah.
to.
He didn't say that he would be solely a left winger, but you need to just read between the lines. Not only did the report say that Arteta believes he can make him into a top left
And
winger,
it'll be more
but
than backup.
he's more than backup, and he's been told that he's going to play lots of minutes, which is the only way Nani Madueke was ever going to sign for Arsenal. Anybody who is, no offense, but deluding themselves into thinking that in a World Cup year, Nani Madueke was just going to sign up to be Saka's backup, our Mr. Arsenal, no matter how you spin it. Arsenal, like Saka is Arsenal right now. So he's going to play lots of games. Even if he plays a little bit less than what he played last season, he's going to start most of the games. So he's definitely coming to play more than just a backup, which opens up the conversation about how Arteta is going to use him on the left. I know some people are still trying to push he's just a backup, but he's not. Sorry. He's just not, Gyökeres has to start. And I know some people are like, well, of course you have to see Saka and Gyökeres together. But what I am saying is that a lot of these teams have 3 top level players. We can't just have Gyökeres and Saka. That left-hand side cannot just be somebody that is just involved.
We're carrying too many players in the attacking ranks, really. Like the only player that should be carried in general, there's actually only 2 players that should be carried in our whole squad. That is Miles Lewis-Skelly, who's doing very well, and young Wanyeri, who we hope plays in the 10 and 8. Big him up for the new deal. Probably play off the right. We're carrying too many players, if I'm honest with you. It'd be interesting what a left footer, in theory, on the left-hand side could do. I do think there are some qualities I like with Madueke, but again, it's not even me with Madueke. Arteta, you have to make it work. You have to make it work.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
bet on.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly. And I think Arteta just believes so much in the players that he has. And that's why there's times where we're completely done with a player, but they stay for another year or two because Arteta is like, well, I can work with what I have. That mentality is what's keeping us back in attack. I really think he needs to be serious for like 5 seconds. One thing I am kind of interested in and excited about next season is assuming that we have Gyökeres, that we're actually going to be in the conversation in the striker wars. What's gone on with Liverpool and Newcastle has been absolutely fascinating to me. I think Liverpool thought they had the hand up for a second, like they were in the driving seat, but Newcastle were exactly who I thought that they were. I was like, because I was surprised. I was like, are they really going to sell Isak? And then people were saying, well, yeah, you need to sell a good player in order to. And I'm like, good teams don't do that. Good teams don't sell their best player to a team that they're competing against to get better. It doesn't work that way, So it seems like Newcastle are set to keep Isak, and now Ekitike is coming in. We'll have Gyökeres. Holland is already here. João Pedro is in. It's interesting. Are you kind of excited to see how Gyökeres goes up against some of these really good strikers? I think the potential Golden Boot race can be really exciting.
Indirectly, because I might be looking at it very basic, but typically if you've got a striker that's going to be in the Golden Boot race, you should be aiming to win a league or get over the line. Whether you're trying to stay in a division, get European football, win the Prem, you need forwards in it. It'd be nice, but I'm a bit different in that I'm just happy to have a number 9 through the door. Like I don't care what number he's wearing. When it actually happens, we've got a 9. I just need Arteta to play the man, change up the team in terms of the tactics and whatnot, make us unpredictable. And just let the man do what he's doing, innit? Like, for me, I don't want to have to live or die by Saka's performances. I feel, as much as I like our system and everything, I feel you move things around us. People lose form. We're in issues. Obviously, we create a lot more than Odegaard, but Odegaard falls off a cliff. We're struggling in a creative world. There was a point where we were just living off Declan Rice, just putting the team on his back towards the end of last season. We all know, Bukayo Saka 9 times out of 10 does the business. But that game where he's doubled up, tripled up against, he's in issues. I feel it's always placed on one man, and I need to kind of see that changed. We need to evolve. As much as it's about signings, we need to evolve, because we can talk about Gyökeres and Eze and all these guys, and great players would obviously help us. They will. But it comes down to coaching. For the last 2 years prior to the one coming, we have spoken about low blocks and, breaking them down and things like that. What if we just put new players on the pitch and that doesn't happen? Arteta has to evolve next season. The club has to evolve, or we're going to talk about the same old shortcomings.
Yeah, for sure. I think you're absolutely correct. And I was talking about this yesterday, but I want to bring it up again. Drinking your tea.
That was a straight coffee, actually. Coffee. And don't start the US UK wars, because you got all these dickhead rappers chatting from over you lot side, chatting shit like they won't get what.
Yeah.
You lot
Okay.
ignorant as well. I'm watching interviews and you're like, I can't believe you wear tracksuits. Well, that's an interesting mug. Tea.
What's interesting about it? You jealous?
Shit, man. You shit.
Jealous?
Tacky
Okay.
is tacky.
Tacky.
You
I've
lot,
had this for
you lot
years.
horrible. What is that? Tea. The Americans can't make no tea. You lot can't make a good cup of tea.
I drink coffee. I'm a real
Probably dead as well. Meaty as well. Meaty. Everything over them sides is meaty.
It's really not. But listen, I am excited to see where Gyökeres falls in terms of the strikers, because I saw so somebody had said that the Premier League is evolving towards like the Bundesliga, not in terms of quality, but in terms of the way teams want to play. It's not really like this slow possession anymore. People are very transitional, lots of athletes, lots of runners, a lot of carriers. And so I'm like, well, of course, Arsenal need to make sure that they evolve, not only just for the league, but also just like for ourselves to get the best out of our players. Then I saw this comp that was going around yesterday, and I was like, they told me that Gyökeres could not play against settled defenses. Did you see that comp going around?
Yeah, people just talk nonsense, man. And this is the thing. A lot of them, I like Sesko. I was happy with Sesko. I was happy with Gyökeres. It's an ego thing. That's why I'm not listen. Big up Havertz, because you could be a squad option, but that's why they're doing this. Oh, Gyökeres is going to be on the bench for the whole season. Is a plan B. They nitpick at Gyökeres, but then there's so much upside about how Sesko is going to be amazing, where they forget this man has obviously had good or bad moments at Brighton, and he's went on loan. He's done it in the Championship, which is probably the best kind of case study to look at if he could do it in the Prem. And he's done it in Portugal, and he's done it in the Champs against different teams. It's all nonsense, man. And even if he struggles, because we can't expect him to score the goals. Like, imagine the first 10 games of the season, it's happy as Larry, just like we win all the 10 games. Gyökeres scores in all of them. 11th game comes now. He's playing against a physically imposing centre half. He's struggling. We're going to need the other players. No player is going to be the Messiah. Salah made the difference for Liverpool and basically won them the league, but he didn't do it alone. You had Darwin Núñez, who's frustrating, coming off the bench. Harvey Elliott might leave, but he was doing 1-2 things. Bro, Gyökeres can do that, man. The guy's a baller. The guy's got the mentality. He's us now. An interesting thing is it forces Mikel Arteta, quote unquote, to change things now as well and be a bit more unpredictable, because he can't. Gyökeres got general play, pulls out to the left, he does that. But in terms of everything Arteta, we've become accustomed to wanting from a forward beyond scoring goals. We've seen Lacazette do it. Marino's done it. Havertz has done it. Jesus has done it. He can't do it to their level, but he can score goals. So 50% make him do that. 50% put the man in other roles. We need to just be unpredictable. I keep saying that. Like, we need to be unpredictable. We're too predictable. You know how to stop us. They're chatting shit, just
exactly.
Man.
Yeah, 100%. I looked at that comp and I was like, I'm so glad I saw this, because not only did I feel like people were overreacting to this whole needing to play counterattacking style, but he's played in a system that requires him to be really good counterattacker, in counterattacking situations. But he can also adapt to settled situations as well, which is exactly what we need. Arsenal suck at transitions. We are one of the worst counterattacking teams I've ever seen in my life. In these
Madueke could help with that.
Yeah.
And funny enough, he actually could. But again, as you said, we don't move the ball quicker. So it's not even a Madueke thing. It's an Arteta coaching thing. Because Martinelli could as well. But the struggle we've got there.
The idea that he can do both makes me like him even more, because we're going to adapt to him, but he's also going to adapt to us. And it's going to be a happy kind of like marriage thing. This guy, I don't want to gas it too much. I saw finishes that reminded me of like Kane and stuff like that. I think he's going to be really good for us. We just have to make sure that we feed him. Do you think his personality and like his confidence is going to make players like Odegaard pass him the ball? A lot of people talk about Odegaard being scared to pass the ball forward and passing sideways and backwards. Will the way that he plays in his kind of like confidence. I make the other players feel more confident to give him the ball. He's that type of player, right?
I mean, you could say that naturally. You imagine Saka's probably got that about him. You go back
Mm,
a few years, we had that about Alexis, and there's probably many examples across the league. I'll be real though, Odegaard, if you need to have that confidence yourself. That's
true.
mentality is what I like from Gyökeres, whether it works out or not. And I know had a player been going on strike and he played for Arsenal, I'd be looking at it differently. But Gyökeres is essentially moved heaven and earth to make it happen. Of course, he wants to be a protagonist. I'm not gonna lie, one thing I won't accuse Kai Havertz of playing up front is I don't think you've ever hidden. I can criticize your ability, your goal scoring. I think you've always fronted up to the music. But how good can it be if you look around? Saka's over there, Gyökeres is there, Copium, Madueke's over there. Yeah, man, we need that. But Odegaard just needs to put his big boy pants on now and just keep it moving. You got the ability. Shut these
Mm.
people up now, man. There's been too much rhetoric around Martin.
Yeah, I think he needs to obviously take the responsibility, but I think there is something to be said about somebody that makes those runs, demands the ball, and the first couple of times that you give it to him, if he puts in the back of the net, there's a requirement for you to continue to do it. And so the way I see Odegaard play with Holland, I want to see him play the same way with Gyökeres. You have somebody in front of you that demands the ball. If you don't give it to him, you failed. Give him the ball, and he's going to put the ball in the back of the net. Not saying that he wasn't giving the ball to Kai just because he won't score, but there's a little bit of like a timidness to our play. And it definitely, I think it's exemplified in Odegaard, a player that definitely has the ability to do these things, but shies away from them. And I'm not quite sure. Madueke, trying to give him some props. It's hurting me, but give him some props. Him and Gyökeres like to shoot. I'm excited about taking more shots next season for sure. There's
It's a bit
definitely
different from Madueke though. Like you just need to score or assist.
What do you mean? What
Right.
do you
That's
mean?
that's that's one thing I like about Madueke is that he likes to get shots. Like I'm actually doing a tactical video on that. He likes to get shots away. But it's a
Yeah.
bit like Martinelli in the sense that I don't think you're bad players. You do everything kind of well, but
Mhm.
you need to know when to pass, when to shoot. Ultimately, you're gonna live or die by goals assists. That's where you're at now. So I do agree with that. And I'll do you one better. Actually, if you look at he crashes into the box, he gets into the right places, like Gyökeres. But Madueke, if you're gonna get in the box in the right areas,
Gotta put the
no
ball in
one
the back.
don't care unless you're gonna make the difference. No one don't care. So there's a lot of real potential. Which Madueke, big you up. You're gonna play for Arsenal. Mikel Arteta, you have to make that work, big man. Please.
100%. I mean, your life, like I don't want to be dramatic, but Mikkel, you're like that guy that asked to like have your landlord increase your rent because you just want because you know what I mean? Like you're that guy. And it's like I kind of rate that about you, but equally I feel like you don't have the time and space to like be doing this shit. But we will be taking more shots. We'll definitely be better on the counter. Will be better carrying, I think, as well, because both players can dribble, especially like Madueke can carry the ball. But we're missing something else. Like we're missing that flair and stuff, and that's where Eze comes in. How confident are you that we get this deal done? We've been trying to approach him or approach Crystal Palace for about 2 weeks now. Are you confident we get Eze through the door? Are you confident we get anything else besides Gyökeres through the door?
I'm confident we'll get another attacker, whether that's another person on the caliber of Rodrigo, Eze is another thing. I've got more confidence in getting Eze than Rodrigo. I think there's tangible proof, but for me, 4.5 out of 10. I'll believe it when I see it. Now, maybe I'm just being pessimistic. I didn't think we'd get a Batman, Declan Rice, Mesut Ozil, Alexis Sanchez. So hopefully I'm a positive omen in that. But I'll believe it when I see it, purely because I don't think the club are under any FFP issues. But I think again the journalists don't know what's happening at the club, but it just feels like the language is very consistent in that Gyökeres and Mascara through the door. Then we're probably going to focus on some outgoings for a period. We feel that every day that ticks on in the transfer window, Crystal Palace might buckle in their demands for Eze. Obviously, there's the backdrop of Chelsea, and we know Chelsea, even if they don't want to pay his release clause, they will make an offer for Eze that makes more sense to us. And simply put, Crystal Palace will get their money a lot quicker. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a bit 4 out of 10, man. 4.5 tops.
Yeah,
I want to
I
be wrong.
feel kind of similar. The thing is there's no doubt in my mind that the interest is there on both sides, but that doesn't mean anything for Arsenal because
Exactly.
they will agitate somebody, get them excited for the move, and then ghost because they ain't got the money. We've seen it before, you know, so there's no doubt in my mind that we've spoken to Rodrigo, but I know we don't have the money. I know it, you know, and if you don't have the money on hand, I get that you're like, well, just in case, but like as you're saying, we're like window shoppers sometimes. It's like we don't really have the money like that. We should have it, but we don't. So it's frustrating because I do think the window ends up being a fail for a lot of people if Eze doesn't come in. I think also like the tail end of it all, the story attached to it, the fact that so many of us really like him is it's more than just about getting an attack mid. It's about him. And if he ends up going to a rival, I would not want to be Mikel Arteta. Sorry.
I
I
can't
wouldn't
like
want to
for
be
me, it's not
wanting.
even the Halen thing. Like, big
I
him up for
wouldn't
that.
want.
But you're just a good player, bro. Like, I'm done with romance now, and I'm probably the most romantic football fan you'll meet. But
Mm.
Eze, you've got qualities, unique qualities that we're missing. Bring the man to the carpet. And if you don't get him, couldn't tell you who. There's youths at Monaco. Go and get someone else. Don't tell me we tried. Don't come out in the athletic about we held talks with Rodrigo and this and that. There was no feeling on the market. Because big up Madueke, I'll give you a chance. Shout out Gyökeres. If they're the only two attackers you brought in, let's just hope all the dominoes fall into place, innit?
Are you worried about the lack of movement on some of our like dead wood? You know, because people are saying if Trossard leaves, we might go for Eze, and I do think he's like a natural replacement for Trossard, but there's nobody really beating down our door for Trossard. You know, are you concerned about that? You know, it's a loan for Nelson that doesn't do anything for us.
Yeah, man, better fix that up, man. Fulham, we got time for you lot, but yeah, you need to buy him
Mhm.
permanently or loan with an obligation to buy. Don't give us none of that, man. I mean, in Berta, we trust in it. I know it's a tough sell, and I know we see other players that might be, held in the same regards and looked at as trash, and they go for decent sums. We're not really the best. Well, we're not a good selling club, really. There's a couple of exceptions rather than the rule. I know it's a tough sell. I know probably the club wanted to get the incomings in, then probably focus on that. But I've got confidence in Berta. But like you said, there, it's a tough ask. It's all fun and games saying sell half for these players, but do
We
they
need
want to leave? Do they want to run down their deals? They're on big wages. What
we need
about the
to go
fees
to
offered?
those places.
Exactly. And you're also reliant, probably to a degree. Arsenal's one thing, but if you're Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko, and you've got agents that obviously care about your client, you're relying on them kind of, drumming up work for yourself. In the same way we've seen Gyökeres' agent kind of do the bulk of the heavy lifting to get this move. You want to see that with the others. If I'm Zinchenko, for example, not saying he wants to do this, but what if Zinchenko says, do you know what? Maybe Arteta would have learned last season about squad depth. I can play in midfield. I can play in left back. I've won a league. I want to stay here. My family's comfortable in London. I'm not getting these wages elsewhere. I might just run down my deal, get my loyalty bonus. And as we're seeing in the game more frequently every season, people are leaving for free. So it's almost like, yeah, from a footballing point of view, these players need to move on. But we kind of need to move them on more than they would want to move on, quote unquote. So we need to get a move on, man. Like Nelson's on 100 bags a week. Shout him out. But come
Please
on,
stop
that's how it
putting
harming
these
us.
players on high wages. I know that
Exactly.
we can pay them those wages, but we need to think about needing to move them on. And this is that like making these players too important to the team because of their wages is what's concerning. Because under Mikel, especially, it's not even just Mikel, it's Edu. There have been so many players that have gotten these inflated wages, and that's been one of the main reasons why we can't get rid of them. Nelson we're struggling, and I feel like the wages are a big part of it, and his injuries. Eddie was hard to get rid of because of his wages. Zinchenko will be difficult to get rid of, although I do give them a little bit of grace for Zinchenko because when he came in, he was a starter. But moving forward with Berta, players like Norgard, players like Kepa, players like Madueke need to be on much smaller wages because if it doesn't work out or in a year we want to move on, 2 years, we need to be able to get them out. There
Don't
it's
get
so
it twisted,
hard.
just like don't get it twisted. Like obviously Berta's got the Atletico Madrid history and he is a footballing man, but he comes from a finance slash banking background. Obviously last season or going into last season, so this time last year, as I said on my platform, we finished a point or two behind City. We're thinking, you know what, if you do XYZ, we might be able to get there. I do think that was the case on one hand, but then you look at there was clearly an emphasis on outgoings. Plenty of players needed to leave for footballing reasons, but there was clearly an emphasis on outgoings. And if you're KSE and you've seen Arteta and Edu come in, they kind of fixed up the wage bill initially and then they've kind of ruined it, quote unquote, for themselves. he's gonna say, yo, we need to fix this up. Like you said, we're not getting too much money in. We're putting people on inflated wages. We know there's probably 3 players that we're probably looking at moving on long term, if not, if their life doesn't change. So there is that element, you know. Again, I don't want to create a pylon, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with Kai Havertz, to see what happens with Martin Odegaard if his form doesn't get better. Everyone and their nan can talk about moving Martinelli on. How much is he on? Just rightly so mentioned Reece Nelson. Obviously, Partey's left, Jorginho's left, Kieran Tierney's left. If you're the Cronkies, this is something you're trying to fix up. Essentially, we know we care about self-financing and all that jazz. That is something that they're demanding on top of anything else. So we need to get. We need to do so much. So
Yeah,
much.
so much. I agree. Marlon saying move on those players for cheap. Better to get something back for them than letting them go for free. Well, one
But
of the
yeah,
problems that we've had, Marlon, is that while we don't want to pay other people's valuations of those players, we have inflated valuations of the players we have. And we don't, you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, we need to be getting 20 million or whatever for a certain player. I remember we wanted a lot for Eddie. To be fair, we got close to it. But it's like, we don't want to move on our players for cheap. And the only way that we move them on for cheap is when they have 1 year left on their deal. And the only other option is they go for free. So usually it does end up going into that last year because we ask for too much. I'd prefer them just to move these players on quickly and just kind of, keep the ball rolling. But they put them on high wages and they're like, yeah, but I want like half of or double of that. Okay, you're a weirdo in the comments. We must get rid of you. Hello? Like, are you okay? But yeah, wanting 50 million for
take a touch.
Kivior. Do you think Kivior should go?
No, but I think
No?
Kivio's a weird one. I wouldn't throw him into the bunch of want away players. Like, as we,
Yeah.
we used to run a lot of jokes like, Kivio, you proved me wrong. I'm Kivio Hive. I need you for depth. I just think with Kivio, he'll probably say, you know what, Gaffer, as romantic as it was, finally playing as a centre half, finally, doing well against Madrid. I only really got my opportunity in the team yet again because there's injuries. He probably does want to go and get first team football. Now, Kivio is probably a bit different, and he must be somebody that can get us money. But he's linked to, every now and again, he's actually been linked with Palace. He's linked with some English clubs. He's linked with some Spanish clubs. He's linked with primarily Italian clubs. Now, I hope we can get a fee, and Berta's not an idiot. He's shown he's about to change our lives. But thinking about it logically, if I'm half of these Italian clubs, I'm going to say to these British clubs, I've got no money, I'm broke. Can I have him on loan with an option to buy? If it's not an obligation, forget about it. Kivio, I'm only selling Kivio if he says I want to leave, innit? But yeah, you need to stay, man. We need depth.
He has to want to go, and we need to be able to get a good fee for him. Because I don't think we have enough if we get rid of Zinchenko and him. And having to replace feels like we already have so much to do. Like, I really want to be done with these whole like defender conversations. It was like, it's just a lot. Like, we have defenders. Like, I don't, whatever. Let's see. Let's read some of these comments. APG says, Jess, I think the Victor Gyökeres announcement will be after preseason. At this stage, it will be. Like, I know people are putting these like Ed saying, like, Arsenal have agreed to pay a da-da-da-da. We know we're still waiting on either Ornstein or Fabrizio to say the deal is actually done.
Or hand of Arsenal. Big him up.
Yeah, and if it's not done, we're haggling over these add-ons. And I really think they're going to push us all the way until we're like desperate to get him to preseason, and then we'll fold. Or we're going to, it's Arsenal and these deals. I mean, I got it with Rice because it was £100 million deal, but like, my goodness. Right. Of course, keep Kivior. Didn't you see the benefit of depth in defense last season? I mean, I saw something that said that Kivior is sure to go now because Mascara has come in. So I don't know what Arsenal are thinking. I would probably keep him at this stage just for the simple fact that I just don't want to even hear about needing to recruit in defense anymore.
Let's be over prepared for once, man.
Yeah, but just leave Kivior there, I guess. Like, yeah, it's not even our fault. It's Sporting taking the piss on easy add-ons. No, I get that. I'm just done with it. It's dragged on too long now. We're too set. Like, and I'm actually really surprised that they did not announce Madueke today. What is like Arsenal? I don't get them. I really don't. I don't necessarily need the announcement, but it's like,
surely in the next 24 to 48 hours, though. When are we going? When are we going? Singapore
Saturday.
and Hong Kong? Is it Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
Yeah, surely that's getting wrapped up, man.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Well, they might do the Declan. Well, no, they did do a specialist Declan Rice video, but I remember there was a live stream and it just panned to Declan Rice in training. They might do that with Madueke. I don't know.
I mean, they just need to be so freaking for real right now.
Took
Like,
forever with Zuby.
yeah, well, they take forever with
It's just what
everything.
we do, man. It's calm,
You know
man.
what I
Everyone
wish
just
that they
steady.
were actually like, no offense to them, I love all the content, but it's like you think that they'd be making motion pictures like with what they're doing, and it's like it's just some like I don't know, they're just so annoying with
Couple
it.
camera effects.
Yeah, they're doing the most, man. Like they put something out about like Norgard this morning and like, oh, look at these pictures in the 35 milligram or millimeter lens. And I was like, no offense, nobody asked for this. We don't want this shit.
Now, big up. No, you know what? You know what? Yeah, you can't do no God dirty. I'm starting to. I like him. You know, seeing his kid crying, he's crying. He's here for this, man. No God, you got a friend in me, mate.
Fair enough. I mean, I do like the guy, and I think he'll do well for us. And
But no one did ask for it. Now we just want to
yeah, but
see
I didn't.
Marion
Yeah,
and
yeah, we're not asking for this. Finish up the Jokeris thing, and then give me an announcement video with him and Madueke and Mascara. Put them in the kits, and let's go. Like I'm tired of this. Like, what are we waiting on, man? Says, what if the Arsenal and Sporting negotiators just really like talking to each other and spending time? Do you understand? Like, I hope we're not spending money on this hotel for them. They need to buy their own hotel. I hope we're not getting them no breakfast, no drinks, no nothing. This is your own expense. It's been 4 days. What are we doing here still? That Barandis guy is possibly one of the most diabolical human beings. I get that they want their money, but
that's harsh.
what are
Yes,
we doing? He's
even that's
annoying.
harsh. He isn't. No, no. From an Arsenal perspective, I'm with you, but he's got to do this thing. Like you can't get bullied by no agent. It's just messy, isn't it? Like it's got messy. Like I feel sorry for Gyökeres because obviously, you know, it seems like the means justified the ends. But I'm sure someone that went to Sporting, great memories, loved the fans, to kind of leave through the back door or leave with a sour taste to the point where you're getting posters where I think they lost 2-0 to Celtic. It's horrible, but I understand it. They did this nonsense with Man United with Bruno Fernandes. Obviously, I personally think it started off as the Sporting president versus Gyökeres' agent. Gyökeres has obviously caught strays for it. We've caught strays, and then it's just gone all mad. But he is a bit of a dickhead.
Yeah, he's on my last nerve. I can't lie. He's dancing on that last nerve. It's like, what are you doing? And I get that. Let me ask you about this. Now I was saying that because somebody had said that Madueke wanted to go on the Asia tour, but they said that no, you need to go relax. I personally feel like it would be in his best interest to be there, and waiting too long, it's like you need to get as adapted and acclimated as possible. Would you prefer him to go on the Asia tour, or do you think like no, just chill, take a
I
break,
don't know, man.
whatever?
Remember, Kai Havertz come a long way from them that skills challenge thing in America. I don't think anyone wants to see Madueke doing skills. I hear you. Obviously, the quicker you get in, the quicker people accept. Let's be honest. I'm not saying you should hate on Madueke or anything, but I think it just showed the human elements in it. Like people were dissing Norgard, whether they like him or not, nothing personal. You see the human element. Just bring the man in and get up to speed with your teammates. If I was Madueke, I'd want to go because it's not the same. But we're hearing Wanyeri actually could have had that off. He wants to go off to Singapore. Actually, with Madueke, I think you should go and show your teammates what you're on, go and get a first team spot. Who knows, man? He was pictured at Wireless. There must be motives for him in it. And if he's not, if it's been agreed he don't need to go, then fair play. But if I was him, I'd go over there. I would.
Nah, I think I would go too. I want to show the Arsenal fan base as soon as possible that I'm, and get adapted and stuff. If he only goes to the Emirates Cup, fair enough, but that also means that we'll most likely start the first game of the season with Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. And I know that like it's fine because the season is long, but I really do think Arsenal fans are desperate to see new players in, and starting off with basically the same 11 plus Zubi, I don't think is going to be satisfying, but I guess if we win, it doesn't matter, but whatever. What if they want to finish and announce all 3 deals at once to reduce the heat on Nani? I'm going to be really honest. They don't care whether we like Nani or not. Because if they cared, they wouldn't have ever got him. Exactly. They don't give a shit. They're probably sitting there like, why did Arsenal fans are stupid? Why did they think that they know better than us?
And what heat, really and truly, what heat can you stop him for? You're all going to be out there at some point and get praise or critique. You can't save anyone. It's a big club. This is Premier League business. I actually think there's going to be a lot of Arsenal. Obviously, let's not be dumb. I don't know about internally, but people want Mikel Arteta to get over the line. There's been a lot of noise about Zubamendi. I actually think he's going to change our lives, but he's going to need to hit the
Cool.
ground running. Gyökeres has been hyped for a couple of years. You got him, and obviously Madueke. There's unfortunately there's no hiding place, and it can go beyond constructive criticism. This is the dynamics. It's going to be a hot season at the Emirates, regardless of the winter or whatever period we're playing in. There's no
Um,
time for games and joking now.
yeah, for sure. Do you agree with this? Dark Gray says, with all the way that Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool are building machines, if Arsenal don't get Eze or Rodrigo or a good forward, then I won't be surprised if they struggle to end in the top four.
I think we'll be in the top four because we're going to get Gyökeres. But in terms of, bridging the gap and getting to the next level, I still maintain, for me, from the signings that are in or led to believe are in, I only think Gyökeres and Zubamendi are game changers. Now, I know, obviously, we needed level raisers when we also needed depth. I feel like we've covered the depth indirectly. Level raisers, I'm not sure. So I think we're going to get top four, man. I don't think that's
Yeah,
an issue.
because even with those teams, you've named 3 teams, that would mean that we would make top 4. I don't actually, that's not my worry. And I agree with Dio here. My problem is not about top 4. I actually think the top 5 is set, to be honest. With the way that we're doing business, I really don't think that unless Man United or Spurs do something really special, because again, adding attackers doesn't really, it's like it doesn't paper over the cracks of midfields that don't really stand up to the rest of ours or defenses. So you can have
They
great
got Thomas
depth.
Frank, though.
Huh?
They got Thomas Frank, though, with Spurs.
They
I'm definitely not
do.
trying to sing Spurs' praise, but Thomas Frank is bad news, man. They've actually got a competent coach.
Yeah, I mean, they can have a competent coach. I still think that you still need to have the talent and defenses and,
Fair.
everything. The whole team needs to come together. Because technically we all have good coaches. Some are better than others. But I think the top 5 is pretty much set unless something goes really bad for one of us. And I just don't see it. We're all like City. No, we might not be as spendy as they are, but Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Newcastle are pretty much the only teams doing serious business. Like not just 1 or 2 forwards, but like they are going for it, So I actually think we'll be fine for top 4, and that's not our problem. Our problem is whether or not we're going to be able to win the major honors. We're not going to struggle to make top 4. Not without, like, we're gonna have our players fit, hopefully, like, it's more about, are we gonna win actual,
We're gonna get silverware. Is there gonna be a parade in May 2026?
exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Mikey says we will mash work this season. The attack finally arrived. I just feel like we need one more. I just still think we need one more to really be on the same level. Like again, City, Marmoush, Doku, Savino, Holland, like Turkey, like we're really kind of like 1 short of that, maybe even 2. Toxic positive, but look at the 23-24 team with 89 points. If Arsenal add Eze, you could argue all 11 positions have been approved with an upgrade to starter or an upgrade to a primary backup. All 11? I don't think it's all 11.
I'm not sure,
I think I get what you're saying. Our core right now, like what we have, is a Champions League level team and has been for a couple seasons. That's not really our problem. I need to feel like we can push from 89 points, high 80s to 90s. With Gyökeres, that's probably could happen. With a fit Saka, I know that can happen, but I still just feel like let's have more than just about enough.
Let's be over prepared for once.
Right. 100 exactly. You see, you hear what I'm saying. It's like we're always just like, let's get so close. Like, no, let's have a little more extra. If we don't get Eze and if we don't get Rodrigo, what's your next course of action?
Fucking hell, man. I cry. But you gotta go to Monaco, innit? Just buy a couple of them youths. Just go over to Monaco and buy that youth, man. Adeluche or whatever his name is. Just go buy him. Just go buy him.
So you're not going to RB Leipzig and asking for a deal on Xavi Simons?
Nah, I like Simmons, man. I don't think you're built for this. I think you're a good player, an amazing player. I'd have you at Arsenal.
He's built for it.
I don't think you're built for it.
That's why, like, like Premier League fans are not, or at Premier League clubs are not chomping at the bit for this player is because maybe he's not a Premier League player.
I think you've got it in you for your consistency to go up a level. I think you're defo a good player. You defo got that, but across 90 minutes, I think you flattered to deceive. Across the season, I think you're a bit too up and down. Of course, I'll have it, shiny new toy and whatnot. But he is an Arsenal or a traditional Arsenal sort of player, but I don't know, man. I need players with the dog in them, man. Look how Gyökeres is moving. Like, look what he's doing to get a move to this football club. Imagine what he'll do to score a goal. And I know we've been waffling about Gyökeres, but it's actually the unglamorous goals that Gyökeres is scoring, them little instinctive ones off the shin. That's what we kind of need. I need players that want to get it done. Like, we can count on one hand the shithousery players we've got. And obviously, you know, the Sakas, the Salibas, they're not shithouses, but they're not pricks either. We need a couple of that, man. Xavi
Yeah.
Simons too much of a good youth.
Yeah. And I do kind of agree that I think it's going to be a 90 plus season this time around. I just think that the my that's why I do feel like not always just spending money means that it's going to result in a better team, but I do think that the positions that people are filling are actually the positions that they need to, and they are bringing in quality. And what's also happening is we're picking off good players off of that strong middle that was actually taking points off of us. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Brighton,
Newcastle.
Brentford is cooked. And so that gap between the top 5/top 7, I think is going to be quite big. And so that means that if you can't be losing to the small teams, like everybody's going to be picking up those points. So it's really going to come down to the big games. And so this could be an all-timer season. I really want Arsenal to be a part of it. I just don't want to look back on the season and be like, we just needed one more forward, or we just needed a couple more goals. Like, I really just don't want to be looking back on that. But yeah. How confident are you in Nelly if he ends up being the starter? Like, do you think that he could have a remontada type season? Like, because I've written him off, but you've been a big fan, so how do you feel about that? Because he may end up being our starting left wing for this season.
I mean, Jess, if he ever does that, you better not invite me back on this platform, because you and a number of content creators I make content with, yeah, you thought I was finished. I mean, I could argue, I do think Gyökeres likes to pull over to the left. So if Martinelli starts, that could help him. That being said, I am past that point of you need a left back, you need this, you need that to get to the next level. With Martinelli, I'll be real, I just accept you for what you are in it. If you can do that, great. But what you could be is a good squad player that could impact off the bench. You'll be in a rotator. Past that, don't know, man. Yeah. There is things that need to be done on our left hand side. We all know we're lopsided, but I think it just comes down to decision making with Martinelli. You're a good lad, you work hard, but when you need to pass, you're shooting. When you need to shoot, you're passing. When you need to go near post, you're going far post. Everything we've seen, and obviously it could have been coincidental. Like, maybe Arteta always believed Martinelli was going to be great. I mean, I don't know how it would have worked for Mudryk, and he just wanted to bring in Mudryk, but we all believe that Arteta's always had that left wing as a spot to upgrade. Even when Martinelli had that season, he wanted to buy, obviously, my man in January. But I accept, at this moment in time, I'm just accepting everyone for what they are. And I don't mean that in a disingenuous way. Merino up front, you can do a little thing on occasion. Havertz, you can do a little thing on occasion. Martinelli and Trossard, you can mix and blend in the squad. Saka's the only one that showed me for the 38 Premier League games, you're going to do it for the majority, etc., etc. We need to just delegate appropriately, because we take squad players, make them regulars, and we're surprised that they're good, but we just don't get over the line beyond everything else.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand. And, the point that you make about we've always been linked to these other players for left wing, but we've never gotten them. I just feel like that's that gap between Arteta having these champagne dreams about getting Rafinha or getting Mudryk and not getting them, but then still settling for something that's way under what we need. We need to stop settling for a left wing that we know is not good enough. I've never seen Arteta try to upgrade on right wing. I've never seen Arteta try to upgrade on, Odegaard's position, really. But he's consistently trying to upgrade on the left wing. But somehow, every season, we end up with the same two options. And to me, I'm just like, I don't understand why you guys can't just get a left wing. But I think it's maybe they overrate or think more highly of the players that we have. And they just don't, like, I can think of like 3 or 4 players that I think would be an upgrade, but maybe they don't feel the same. And they're like, well, if we put him in the right position and we add this and we do this, and
See, that's
it'll
why
be
I'm not
better.
really on
But
it. I know every player
I'm
needs
not
that,
on it
just I'm
either.
not really on that no more.
I'm
Like,
not on it
are you
either.
a baller or not?
Exactly. I'm like, I'm tired of, well, if we do this, then we'll get the best out of so and so. Don't really want to hear about getting the best out of players and making it work. And if we have Trossard, and so we have a deep. We don't. We really don't. Do you like Gordon? Would you take him?
I like Anthony Gordon, but Newcastle are going to just charge us an arm and a leg. You're probably more realistic to go get Rodrigo. Such is how I think the relations above board between Arsenal and Newcastle are damaged. I'm having Gordon because he's got the dog in him. Like, I do think it's interesting though. I think I overrate Gordon because when I speak to Newcastle fans, they don't doubt his quality. They don't doubt any of that. It's just he's not the kind of guy I kind of think he is. But I'm having Gordon because you understand. It's just mentality. You're on what we need you to be on. Wouldn't be my first choice, but I wouldn't cry if we got him.
But don't you think like it's like proximity? It's when you're looking at a player over and over again, all you can really see is what they don't do well. And then because I think we have a little bit of that too with like Arsenal, it's like everything that's outside is like better. Maybe we think our players are not as good or whatever, or we know what their flaws are. Gordon to me is a player that I just can't really see him at Arsenal at all. He's not my favorite, but some people are saying he's been offered to us. We know he's been on our list for a while. And Newcastle, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that they've sold yet.
Yeah,
And
if they sold no one key.
I feel like they have to, or we've
We got
known
20
that they
million
need.
for Lloyd Kelly a few months ago. I don't know if they've made any other sales.
Yeah, I wonder, because they're looking to bring in Wissa or another striker. So that's like 50 million for him. They're keeping Isak, which is great. They brought in Alenga. I wonder if they'll need to shift some things around or not, but I still think we'll need to move on Martinelli, which I just think is just so. We're not going to move on Martinelli, so we can just close the door on a left wing. Nobody's coming to get him. Like, he's not going to want
Fit
to go to
Gabriel
the.
Jesus left wing, one last dance. Let's go.
Oh my god! If it really
Let's
comes
go.
down to that, I cannot do it again.
It's his last. It's gonna probably be his last year. He's gonna have a remontada. We're gonna talk about new contracts and that. Gabriel Jesus is a World Cup. You ain't giving up on you, my boy. I am, but I'm not.
Another season of Trossard, Martinelli, and Jesus Hopium Copium. It's crazy.
Nah, it's new. You got Madueke now.
And you're just adding another inconsistent hope player, a think baller. Like, it's like, I think I'm going to show you these stats. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you that. It's like,
Too much XG, man.
I don't think Gordon is an upgrade, honestly. If Rodrigo goes Liverpool, I'm going to cry. Well, get ready. When they sell Luis Diaz, and they will, because Bayern won him bad, they will have the money and the space to go get him. So I've already come to terms. They're going to get him.
Well, we was never like. I'd love to be proven wrong. Everyone who follows my channel, the most pessimistic one I was on was Rodrigo. Too much domino. I keep saying it. Too much dominoes need to fall in place. I think he ends up at Liverpool, but then it wouldn't surprise me if he says, "You know what? I want to leave. I don't want to leave Real Madrid." So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping.
see, man.
That, but kind of like Zubamendi, where they kind of like try to get it done, but then he's like, "I don't want to go." I kind of hope that, but at the same time, it's like. It just shows how serious the Prem is. And if you're unserious,
relentless,
you're going to get left behind, so you can't just have the same attack every single year and expect different results. But that's what we do. Jesus is finished. His decision-making will be the downfall or his savior.
Bare players in the attacking rank that comment. Like,
yeah.
Who is he? Big up Philip, but that could apply to two players in particular. One that ain't even kicked the ball for us.
Yeah, well, that's the issue is that we have very inconsistent and frustrating attackers. We only really like Saka like that, where everybody is like, yeah, that guy is, he's our guy. And then you'll bring in Gyökeres, he might just be the same. But everybody else, Trossard, Martinelli, Kai Havertz, if you
they're
still
not
have
bad
those
players, we just
three,
don't know what we're getting.
and then you've added Madueke to it, Arsenal, I just can't get behind it. I'm all in for Madueke now. Can you imagine his chant to the tune of Smooth Criminal? It's perfect. I'm not doing chants. I never learned the Kai Havertz one. So I'm not going to learn this one either. I hate to sound like Turkish, but like I'm not trying to hear chants.
Ah, man, North London forever. All of that stuff. All that stuff, man.
You guys, I'm Scrooge now. I do not like nice things, and I want just to win. That's it. I don't want anything else. Once Trossard leaves, we'll bring in Eze for left wing. But when is Trossard going to leave? He doesn't have that many suitors. Where is he going? When is he leaving? Who wants him? What's going on?
I can't answer.
You know, we always do this where we have a player and we're like, once he goes, he's staying, and they'll announce his new deal and it's going to crush us. Is anyone excited for the season to come yet? Have you guys missed the game, or are you drained from last season still? For me, it's the latter. Don't know where the excitement comes from. Diluted thoughts?
Yeah, I'm excited, regardless of how it pans out. I miss watching Arsenal. Like when it's all said and done, like man, love football, innit? Love watching Arsenal. Why not? Yeah, the highs, the lows, this shit comes with football. Everyone just put on their big boy boots and let's go.
Yeah, I could go a couple more months. I really could. I could really use a couple more months off. I really could, because we have such a difficult start too that it's going to be like that instant fight or flight. In fact, Arsenal have decided that it's a good idea to play rivals in preseason as well. So you just that instant bullshit talking about can't make it to Asia. Well, don't worry, because if you pay us $10, you can come to the Emirates and watch us play Spurs on a big screen. Who wants to do that?
The game's the game. They're gonna make peas, man. Cronky wants his pennies, man.
We should be playing Singapore All-Stars. That's who we should be playing in preseason.
Maybe like one game, see the kids thump them up, and then yeah, I'm actually on playing all the big teams. If I'm honest,
I don't like it. I don't.
I mean the Spurs. You know what the Spurs fans are gonna chant. We hear it every week against almost anyone.
I don't like playing either because Newcastle, it's a high likelihood that they're going to fly through the ankle of one of our most important players. I don't like that.
That's not a football match. That's a wrestling match. Shout out Newcastle.
Yeah, they don't. It's always show that we're just as good or better than Arsenal. They don't do it with anybody else, but they do it with us. And then there's the Spurs of it all. I'm like, even if it had been, I was actually okay with the Man United Liverpool. Red Army, that's better than whatever we're trying to do this time. I don't mind it. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer.
Come on.
I can't stand it. I can't wait for Madueke to shut the doubters up. I think it's unfair to judge him before he's even had a chance to train with the team and settle in. Listen, I think at the end of the day, though, John, it's like you can't really blame people for being disappointed and or confused about a player that none of us really wanted before. It's like this harsh change that you need to do from this player is not even our thoughts to now you have to rate him all of a sudden. Or I think most of us will give him a chance, but I don't think there's anything wrong in this particular circumstance with being a little underwhelmed by it.
Yeah.
And it is up to him to prove that he should be here. Arteta's kind of set him up. I don't want to say he set him up for failure, but this is just not a signing that we needed to make. It's a very conscious choice to bring in somebody that comes from a club they know the fans don't want that. Doesn't play the position that he's going to come into play. Very expensive when you have other things that you could be doing or other players that you can go for. So I don't really blame fans. The only thing I blame maybe or do not like is the abuse. But
yeah,
you can't tell me I can't be dissatisfied. Sorry. He's just not a player that I want at Arsenal, to be honest. Like we can't see that Madueke already is, which is less than what we were looking for. I feel Arsenal will make UCL final because of the way they have improved over the past 2 seasons, from quarterfinals 2 years ago to semis last season. I hope they go to the finals next year and win. That's really nice. I hope so. I can't even think that far ahead, though. Let's try to beat AC Milan in preseason first.
Let's get Gyökeres signed off before all of that stuff.
Yeah. Arsenal will be the emergency stream by December. 100% agree with you, John, about Nani. Fan base needs to give him a chance. Are these the same fans that will celebrate if he scores versus United, City, Liverpool, and Newcastle?
Well, you should. Like, what Arsenal fan is? I do. Like, come on.
What is this? I don't understand this. Well, don't celebrate when he scores. It's like, First of
So
all,
we can make it clear, the abuse, nobody agrees with it, but people, I feel
100%.
there's very little nuance when it comes to football. Yeah, I got to make out this Madueke thing is so innovative, no one else would do it, and completely fail to understand that there is potential up and downsides. You either got to slag the guy. Why on God's green earth would you not celebrate? Because these same people would sit there and say, "Oh, it's not Player FC, it's not Arteta FC, it's Arsenal FC." Come on, of course we celebrate. You're not a fan if you wouldn't celebrate, regardless of who fucking puts the ball in the back of the net.
You guys conflate disappointment, dissatisfaction, criticism with non-support. And there is a world where you don't quite rate the player. You know, we've done it before. We've literally had players in our team that are horrendous footballers that in the end of the day, we hope that they put their best foot forward and that they do well. But you guys feel like the
Simple.
only way to support is to pretend like you've always wanted this player and that you rate them, and it just doesn't happen that
Yeah,
quickly.
to blindlessly gas up everything,
100%.
which is
I'm
lying.
like, I would love for him to do all this, by the way. You know, I would love for that. I want
100.
him to do well because ultimately this signing could be the difference between us winning things and not. That I think that's another thing that you have to take into consideration is that these signings that we're making up front are we know what we have in midfield and defense. But these signings up front are meant to be the difference between us winning major honors and not. So it's not like he can just come in and fade into the team. He has to be great. He has to be. The fee, what we're going to miss out on potentially, the position that he's coming into play. So you have to give us a chance to come around to the signing based on his performances and not just be like, oh, well, now that he's signing, he's the shit. You know, I just don't, come on, you know, it's too hard. Arsenal fans hated Adebayor even when he was our player. Unpopular opinion, I thought Adebayor was a fucking baller. I really did. I was actually quite
That can't
disappointed
be
that he
unpopular.
did
It was
anything. But I think people rewrite history on him because of the way that he treated us after. But we moved to a one striker system, and Arsene felt like he didn't need Adebayor anymore, and he left. And I thought he was a fantastic player. He just had a chip on his shoulder. You know, and I will never rewrite history on that guy. He was really, really good. Cesc in the door next summer if we don't win a major. I saw you tweet something about Cesc.
what I say.
What were you? I don't know. You said
I don't know.
something.
You said that. I don't know. I'll be tweeting all the time. Like it's AI. It's
Let
handled
me
by
find.
management.
And
What
I
did
was
I
like,
say?
what do you mean by that? Hold on, let me find you.
I say a lot. I tweet a lot of stuff.
I know you do. You talk a lot.
Come on.
You talk a lot. But you were saying something about Cesc. And I laughed because I was like, what do you mean by that?
I
You
don't know, man.
deleted it.
I definitely didn't. I might. What did I say about Cesta? He's a good manager. I wish him all the best. His football at
No,
Como.
I can't believe you did this.
I just think. Well, I think I understand. I think I might have said he's a good manager. He plays attacking football. Plays
You
the football
didn't
you
say
want to see.
that.
I think he's going all the way in this
I'm
management
gonna
game.
find it and I'll bring it up.
Link up soon, says Fabregas.
Look at these guys. Polaroids from La Manja or whatever. Do you see what I mean about Arsenal? They're so unserious.
It's a cult, man.
Nobody asked for this.
Just bring Gyökeres through.
I can't do this. Jagoon says we've been complaining about an inexperienced manager and you want Cesc.
Who said anything about Cesc? I never said I want Cesc at Arsenal. I don't want him. I just think he's a good manager and he's doing exciting things at Como. Like, who said any of that? Talk soon, Cesc.
By the way, Madueke killed it on the left against Liverpool away last season.
That's amazing. How many games and case studies? That's the thing.
Kai Havertz scored a Champions League winning goal. Means nothing. What he did in a Chelsea shirt means nothing to me, really. Just bring Gyökeres and Eze, and I agree with that. So yeah, I think obviously we spoke about almost everything on the other channel as well, and I want you guys to go watch that. But just as like a final thought, what do we need to do from now until the end of the transfer window to make you feel like it is possible for us to win these major honors? Like, what is the bare minimum to you now? Window closes now. I don't think any of us would feel like we could do it.
assuming Gyökeres is in, you need to
Right.
get me Eze as a minimum, innit?
As a minimum.
As a minimum, like, and it's not gonna happen. But I would have preferred somebody if you're gonna do the Madueke thing, because there's a reality that it's not gonna happen. You get Eze, you get Gyökeres, you get Rodrigo. If there's money there, you go and get Madueke. I need a sure bet, man. I need some sure bets. I'm all for giving Madueke time and whatnot, but at this moment in time, assuming Gyökeres is done / being done, there's only 2 players out of the attacking unit that I believe in, which is great. But there's 38 Premier League games and however many in all the comps. That's for me. I need more level raises. I think Zubamendi and Gyökeres step in the right direction, though.
100%. You got to get Eze through the door. I think from a, what I want to call it, like, I think from a, not a narrative, but like the fans will get behind anything if you get Eze. And I know Arsenal don't buy players for the fans, because if they did, we wouldn't have half the team that we have. But if they did and they want to do something for the fans that also improves them, they'll just get Eze. It will lift everything. It'll lift the mood. And I think Arsenal really need to make it, I think this summer window needs to make it feel like we're going into a new season and we can put everything behind us. Signings can do that for you. You know, I feel like Manchester United fans had a really bad season, but now that they brought in Mbomo and Cunha, they're going to feel a lot more like last season was last season and they can go in fresh. I don't think we had that opportunity last summer because they didn't really give us a window that changed anything. They just kind of stood still. So I'm hoping that this is the window that makes us feel like we can fully put the past in the past, move forward. I think we need it fresh. I really do. So, but that only happens if you bring in Eze as well. So we'll see what happens. You guys make sure that you guys support Diluted on his channel, not only just by subscribing, but watch some of the shows, that especially the ones that I'm on, because, you know, I'm here. But yeah, we did a show earlier. That was a lot of fun. Chit-chat about a lot of the same things, but more structured and more professional, because, you know, I just come on here.
Naturally.
I know.
She's Edu Umberta. It's different. Very different.
But yeah, no, you're Edu because you're Brazilian.
And you know who's winning the World Cup next year? Not gonna talk too tough. You lot cannot laugh. You lot cannot laugh. You lot cannot laugh.
I will laugh.
You lot over there cannot laugh.
You
lot keep playing your soccer thing, innit? Because
we're getting grouped. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. We're getting grouped. But yeah, make sure you guys like and subscribe on the way out. Support Diluted. Be nice to him. You know,
please.
You know, he's sensitive.
Or not.
He's sensitive.
If you're horrible, fuck you lot.
You're so mean. Hopefully tomorrow we'll talk about it. Here we go. We've been waiting for like 5-6 days now, but yeah, we'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.
Peace.